If you're a busy, driven person working or studying full-time and you're struggling to work out 5 days a week, 60 minutes a day, you're not alone and you're not a failure. For many years, I worked out 5 to 6 days a week, 60 to 90 minutes a day while studying full-time and working a casual job. Fast forward to now at 31 years of age, I spend less than 15 minutes a day lifting weights with a goal of building muscle and strength. And if I was 18 and you told me that that's how little you work out, I think you're crazy or on drugs. It's not to brag, but to tell you that it's absolutely possible to get into the best shape without spending hours in the gym. So why? Why did I never feel like working out less? How did I change? What did I do to work out less and still guarantee gains? And how can you make that change starting today? So first, why did I never feel like working out less? Like a lot of people, I started out in the gym copying what other people did. First, I copied my brother who introduced me to the gym, then my friend who showed me how to get ripped, and then of course, popular fitness YouTubers. So my entire life, I only knew how to work out like most people, do 3 sets per exercise and a handful of exercises per muscle group, and be consistent. That's what I thought it took to build muscle. And what I did was obviously working. But over time, I was afraid that if I changed the way I work out, then I would stop making gains, possibly even lose gains. And it was only about 4 years ago that I realized that I didn't actually want to spend a lot of my spare time in the gym. Plus, working full time and in a serious relationship, it felt like a complete chore to have to go to the gym and spend hours there. To be honest, I started hating everything about the gym. Big buff dudes walking around like they own the place, guys hogging the cables, having to wait for a bench or a squat rack. Eventually I quit and I invested in a simple home gym setup. But basically I was worried that changing my ways would completely ruin my ability to make any gains, and that I'd actually start to lose muscle. But little did I know that this was far from the truth. So next, what inspired me to start working out less despite having done hour-long workouts for years? Well, 3 years ago, I was living with my partner in my mum's tiny 750 square foot granny flat, very tiny. And as you can imagine, the house felt cluttered and claustrophobic. But luckily, minimalism had just started gaining popularity, and before that, I'd never even heard of this word. One key fact that stood out to me was how we wear the same pair of shoes most of the time, yet on average, we own more shoes than we ever need in a lifetime. That itself inspired me to own less things. I started thinking about how I could apply this to fitness, and then I thought, I wonder if it's possible to build muscle doing just 1 set per muscle per week. This made me super excited. 6 months later, popular fitness YouTuber Jeff Nippard released a video titled How to Train Like a Minimalist, which now has over 2 million views. He made this one really interesting point. He said something like 1 to 4 sets of bicep curls to failure, for example, would get you on average 64% of your weekly bicep gains. This honestly fueled me to keep going. It made me think, I'm actually not the crazy one here. But then I set out to apply that new information. I started testing different ways to train, and my goal was to figure out how I could train very minimally and still make gains. Fast forward to now, I now train under 15 minutes a day, and it's completely changed my body and life. Honestly, it's given me far more time back into my life. It's allowed me to more easily stay consistent in the gym, which I think is key to living a long and healthy life. I'm also consistently seeing an improvement in my physique, which then motivates me to keep going. And if I hadn't discovered the art of working out less and made the change myself, I think I would have given up weight training altogether. And for most people, when they realize they can't work out consistently and therefore achieve their body goals, typically they quit, and it's sad to see. That's why I'm super excited to share everything I've learned with you guys on this channel and hopefully inspire you to start your journey of making efficient gains. And also find a way of working out that fits right into your busy lifestyle. So these were 2 of the things that inspired me to start working out less. This one YouTube video that explained the science behind minimalist training and how minimalism as a philosophy and mindset could improve my life in many ways. But what did I do to make working out less highly effective and efficient? I believe there are 3 key things that made this possible. Starting with number 1, how do we make working out addictive? You see, the reason why so many people get addicted to things like gambling, sugar, drugs, and alcohol is because they give us dopamine. This is also known as a feel-good hormone. It's also the thing that keeps us repeating the same action that gives us even more dopamine, and it goes in a cycle like motion. But what if we could do this with things that are good for us, like fitness? Let's assume that this is a healthy addiction and we know how to balance this out. Like how 3 years ago I had a thought about whether it's possible to build muscle doing just 1 set per muscle per week. This made me hyper curious that I then started to test this theory. You're crazy. And that's exactly what people thought about my idea. They were skeptical and they even made fun of me. But this motivated me even more to want to make this work. Just like how we want to keep progressing in a game. So I failed many times over the last 3 years and I even had doubts about this working. But I didn't want to give up. This whole process felt like I was a sculptor, starting off with a square block of clay, and day after day, my goal was to turn this into a masterpiece. Part of me was hoping that I could prove to people that you don't actually need to do long workouts to look amazing. This is what made the process so addicting to me. And of course, over time I saw progress. My muscles got stronger and bigger. This was a sign that this could actually work, and it added even more fuel to the fire. And just like most science projects, I started testing more things to see if it was true. I've now ended up with what is now my daily 10 to 15 minute workout routine for making efficient gains. And I couldn't be happier. So the idea is, if you're wanting to make working out enjoyable, or whatever it is you want to do, turn it into a game, a challenge. Say with fitness, test 1 change at a time and see if it's true. For example, try doing 2 sets per exercise instead of 3. Test this for several weeks, and if your muscles get bigger and stronger, this will then fuel you to keep going. It's why most games have a progress bar. And it's also why they're so addicting. And whether it works or not, you end up with a ton of valuable lessons for your next venture. There's no downsides to this game. The only downside is when you decide to give up on fitness. And this is detrimental to the most valuable thing you own, your body, health and mind. And to think you can just give up and have your problem sort itself out, that's like putting a problem under the rug. It's gonna bite you in the ass. So don't wait for a problem to fix itself. You need to fix it now. And it doesn't even have to be hard. In fact, it can be easier, which leads me to the next point. How to make working out easy. Think back to when you first started working out. Maybe your friend or brother introduced you to the gym, and for a while you had a gym partner. Maybe you didn't. For me, I had a gym partner and it made getting to the gym and working out a whole lot easier. And just like starting anything new, you were super motivated. You're like, I'm gonna achieve this 6-pack body. And of course, when you started going alone, it got harder. You were the one keeping yourself accountable. It felt like a chore. And at one point in your life, maybe you fell off track. You lost motivation. It felt hard to get back on the fitness train, but once you got going, it got a whole lot easier. But as life got busier, it got harder again. The thing I often see with most people is that they keep doing the same thing that gets them nowhere. Like if you keep trying to work out for 5 hours a week, and if you feel like you can't sustain this, and you're starting to hate the gym, or you keep trying different diets and shakes, and nothing seems to work long term, stop. To keep going is the definition of insanity. You need to pivot. You need to try something different. I know it's not that simple, but perhaps you need to try working out less, or working out first thing in the morning, or even having a simple home gym setup so you don't have to waste your time and effort traveling to and from the gym. Try something slightly different and track your results. That's how you know if it's working. If it is, keep doing that thing, otherwise you're wasting your time. For example, throughout my life I've tried working out early in the morning, I've tried working out in the evening, I've done it all, and I stuck to what worked for me. But your preferences will change. Like in my 20s, I enjoyed working out in the evening. 10 years later, it's the opposite. I also used to enjoy working out for hours a day. Now I can't imagine spending 20 to 30 minutes a day in the gym. It just bores me. I prefer to make better use of my time, like making YouTube videos for you guys. I also used to hate the idea of working out at home. I'm like, I could never do that. And I just thought I'd be so unmotivated. It's the opposite now. So things do change. My point is, if it doesn't work now, stop. Change your ways, and perhaps you'll start to see the results you've actually been looking for. But one thing that makes working out for me a whole lot easier, and it's something that I've started doing this year, is what I call micro workouts. This is something I do in the evening right before I have dinner. So I'll work out in the morning and then do micro workouts later in the day. This helps me increase the number of times with which I work each muscle group. This is key to building muscle and strength even though you work out less. It's also a way to get the blood flowing and it makes me feel good. These micro workouts take no longer than 3 to 4 minutes to do, and it barely feels like I'm having to work out. I mean, what more could you ask for? So what are these micro workouts? There's no definitive way of how to do these, but for me, I personally do one set to failure for a particular exercise. You could do push-ups, you could do bench, you could do pull-ups, anything that you want to work on. The list is endless. So in short, the best way to make working out easier is to first make your workouts shorter. You don't need to spend hours in the gym like most fitness YouTubers tell you. Second, include micro workouts throughout the day. This will help you stimulate your muscles for more muscle growth. And I get it, it's not sexy to work out less, but once you learn how to work out less and guarantee gains, your body and life will change for the better. Which leads me to the next and final point, how to guarantee gains with working out less. Really, this is one of those things where once you know exactly what to do, it's actually pretty simple. Simple, but not easy. You see, the thing I realize now that I didn't know back when I started is that there's one thing you must do, and without it, you'll continue to struggle to build an amazing body. I remember 13 years ago, I didn't want to get big. I thought, I won't go that hard in the gym. I won't lift heavy weights. But then I realized building muscle actually isn't that easy. It's a lot harder than most people think. And so what I did, and what I see most people do, is they focus purely on hitting a specific number. But that's what the fitness YouTubers have gotten us to believe. If you hit a certain number of reps and sets, then you will build muscle. But it's not true. That's not how you guarantee results. As they say, it's not about what you do, it's how you do it. Second, a lot of people also think you need a certain amount of calories and protein in order to build muscle. A lot of people focus on getting enough protein, but they don't put enough thought into the exercise part. Protein alone won't build you muscle. For example, I'm about 60 kilos or 132 pounds, and according to most bodybuilders, I need at least 100 grams of protein for optimal muscle gain. But I could eat 50 grams of protein and still build muscle. Protein is not the most important thing. But I just want to be clear, I'm not saying you should aim for low protein. You should be getting at least the minimum amount of protein for a healthy body, which is 0.36 grams per pound of body weight. For me, it's around 50 grams of protein. That's what I aim for, and any more is a plus. So protein alone won't guarantee you gains. So what's missing? There's one thing that will guarantee you gains when paired with protein. And a lot of people get this wrong. They think they need to do more sets, reps, and exercises. But rather, the key is to train to failure. If I was just starting out, I would have no clue what this means. I might think I do, but really, I don't. So what does training to failure look or feel like? It feels like the weight is heavier than it should be. It feels hard to get the weight up. It feels like the weight isn't moving, but a lot of the time it is. Now, what does training to failure look like? It looks like you're constipated. It looks like you're in deep pain. It looks like you're squeezing every muscle in your body, and that if you don't get the weight up, you're going to die. I'm not being dramatic. That's what it really means to train to failure. You want to push hard, but not to the point where you crap your pants. This is what it takes to guarantee muscle gain. Throw in some protein and you will definitely build muscle. But keep in mind, you have to be consistent. So to recap, to build muscle while working out less, you need to 1. Turn it into a game and make it challenging. If it works, keep doing it. If it doesn't, try something a little different. Keep going, and eventually you'll get there. 2. Make working out easy. Life is hard enough as it is. You just need to make it easier. That doesn't mean sitting around and waiting for time to pass. It also doesn't mean working out for hours a day. Make your workouts shorter and include micro workouts throughout the day. 3. Focus on things that will guarantee muscle, not things that won't. As simple as this sounds, a lot of people don't do this. Make sure you're training to failure every time. Know what that looks like and feels like. But also make sure to have proper form and that you're getting enough protein. That's it. It's that simple. If you want to know more about how to build muscle while working out less, then you want to get a copy of my ultimate workout guide. It's completely free and it's designed to help you get started with making more gains in less time. It includes a workout program as well as a checklist to make sure you're ticking off all the right boxes. To get your free copy, click the link below, enter your email and get instant access. So before I mentioned training to failure as a way to guarantee gains, but that's just one of the many ways. There are 3 more that could save you even more time in the gym while maximizing your gains. Check out this video here where I talk about what they are and how you can apply them to get in the best shape ASAP.